This March, we're going to be seeing a movie that I never thought I'd get to see, and that is Bloodshot with Vin Diesel from Valiant Entertainment. I am so excited for this movie because I love the character, and of course, my love for the character comes from the comic books published by Valiant Comics. So today, I wanted to take a quick look at the Bloodshot series that have come out since 2012 when Valiant Comics rebooted their universe, and why I'm excited due to these comics for the movie that's coming out very, very soon. Who is Bloodshot? Bloodshot is a character known for his palely white complexion, along with the red huge circle that he's got on his chest. And he is a character that was created by this group called Project Rising Spirit. And now, Project Rising Spirit is an organization that has been involved militaristically throughout the history of the world, going as far back as World War II. Bloodshot for Project Rising Spirit is essentially a weapon that is pointed at a mission, a target that they need to take care of. So, what we get to find out throughout these storylines, especially in this first action packed volume, is that Project Rising Spirit has been using Bloodshot, this current Bloodshot, to basically go through and take care of terrorist cells, psyop cells, and whatever other situation they need taken care of by implanting false memories into his brain. And we've seen in the movie trailer that this is going to be a similar situation with Vin Diesel's character, and he sort of finds out that this is what's happening. He gets tipped off by someone that he has a history with. I won't give away too much of it. But he finds out that he is being manipulated by Project Rising Spirit and that all that he knew to be his life is, in fact, false. So Bloodshot's powers, not only does he look cool and not only does he have fantastic aim, he has incredible durability. Bloodshot is packed with these nanites flowing through his blood, tiny little robotic machines that do a variety of things. They heal his body, they allow him to communicate with technology, they allow him to manipulate technology, and of course, they allow him to augment his own physical abilities and things like hand-eye coordination, accuracy, whatever it may be. But not only that, the nanites actually play a big role in helping Bloodshot figure out who he is aside from being Bloodshot. They're a voice inside of his head. They come out to help him and speak to him as these characters that have been part of his fake past that he is now making his reality. While Bloodshot may seem like a very shallow character from the outside, just based on, a few shots you may see, a few pieces of artwork, of course, there's a lot of violence, a lot of action. He is a badass character, but he's a lot more than that, too. And we get to see that primarily, really in all the volumes, but really with Jeff Lemire. His run on the series, we get to see how Bloodshot has a lot more depth to him. I mean, imagine if you were told your entire everything you remember is a lie. That's a lot to deal with, and that's a lot of soul searching you need to do to figure out who you are. Do you want to figure out? Does it matter at the end of the day where you come from, or is what's important who you make yourself now? And that's the big question on Bloodshot's mind. And we see him throughout the first volume go throughout the Valiant universe, interacting with other characters, Psyots, of course, returning to Project Rising Spirit to, have some vengeance upon them. He interacts with characters like Archer and Armstrong. We see him interact with characters like Livewire, Toyo Harada, and throughout all of this, he's working and reconciling for the sins of his past, but he's also working to make himself a better character. Of course, along the way, unfortunately, he is incredibly manipulated. Bloodshot can't catch a break with that. And unfortunately, it leads to a lot of heartache as a reader because you do start to care deeply for this character. Again, you can really empathize with the idea of being told everything you thought was reality was a lie, and you feel for the character. You see him evolve throughout the storylines from this mindless tool who doesn't know what he's doing to a character who eventually develops his own family. So now that we've spoken a little bit about Bloodshot as a character, what can you expect from the comic books if you wanted to read them before seeing the movie, which I do highly recommend? I think starting off with Volume 1 is the best bet because you get to see not only Bloodshot's origin and the whole start of the situation with Project Rising Spirit, but like I said, you get to see him interact with other characters. You see him in Harbinger War as he deals with Psyots. You get to see his history with Psyots and Toyo Harada and the Harada Foundation. You also get introduced to a group called the Hardcore. The Hardcore is a group of military soldiers, ex-soldiers that work for Project Rising Spirit, and they've basically got these powers. They're able to, at one at a time, tap into these powers through their brain so they can, have the power of flight, a shield, a psionic burst, various things like that. And you see them also how they've interacted with Bloodshot in the past. We get to see the history of the Hardcore. We get to see how that history has affected this entity of Bloodshot throughout the decades that Project Rising Spirit has been using Bloodshot. And of course, we get to see how they change as characters, if they change at all, and what the implication of the Hardcore means to the Psiots in the Valiant universe. Now, after that first volume, written by Dwayne Straczynski, we get into Bloodshot Reborn. This was Jeff Lemire's start on the character, which he then continued into Bloodshot Salvation. With Bloodshot Reborn, you got to see a Ray Garrison, a Bloodshot who no longer has nanites. He got them removed by a character. I won't give away all the details of that because you really should check it out. But essentially, we see him without nanites, but then we see him also find out that there is a lot more happening again with Bloodshot than he thought. Historically, there are maybe other Bloodshots out there. There is maybe a Bloodshot Island. So a lot of really cool ideas explored by Jeff Lemire. We also get to see how the nanites affect Ray Garrison's mentality. Now, most recently, we've had a new Bloodshot series started in 2019, written by Tim Seeley, artwork by Brett Booth. We've got book 1 out so far. Book 2 is very, very close on the horizon. This is an action-packed storyline that pretty much follows what happened in Bloodshot Salvation. We get to see, a new take, not a new take on Bloodshot necessarily, but some new exploration of his powers. We get to see an exceptional thrill ride with incredible artwork, incredible action. But if you want to know more about that series, be sure to check out Bloodshot Volume 1. I'll have a little link up here in the corner for you guys to check out. I go into depth with the first volume, talk about the storyline, what's happening in it. You do get to see a little bit of Bloodshot's origin within that volume as well. So be sure to check out that video if you are curious about the new series. I highly recommend picking it up. Now, if you've always been interested in Bloodshot and you're excited for the new upcoming movie with Vin Diesel, in terms of where to start with Bloodshot, I'd say the 2019 series is a pretty safe bet. You're going to miss a lot of backstory, but you can still jump in without knowing anything about the character, and you'll catch on pretty quickly. You'll be able to very thoroughly enjoy the storyline. But for all the hardcore fans, the completists who want to know everything about the character, you got to start from the start. I won't, I haven't read the 90s stuff. I think it was a little different. It had to do with the mob and a different kind of Bloodshot. But I do highly recommend starting off with the Dwayne Straczynski run. This was started in 2012. And then moving on into the Jeff Lemire stuff. You can read starting off with Bloodshot Reborn and jump into the Jeff Lemire content, but you're not going to get the full story, and you may be missing bits and pieces, references of things that happened, various interactions with Valiant Universe characters, of course, what happened between the Psiots and Bloodshot in Harbinger War. So if you're going to be a completist, if you want to get the full story on Bloodshot, and make no mistake, all of this material is fantastic. Bloodshot from the start, 2012, has been one of the best books Valiant has been publishing. So if you are curious about the character and want to get to know him as thoroughly as you can, I highly recommend you go back to 2012 and read everything that Valiant has published for Bloodshot. It's really fantastic. It's action-packed. It's full of heartache, full of emotion, full of character progression, and incredible artwork. Fantastic storytelling that not only takes place in the current time, but takes place in the past, takes place in the future. And like I said, there's just so many great characters that pop up here. I can't recommend this highly enough. Really, 2 big thumbs up for Bloodshot. I'm very excited for the movies. He's one of my favorite characters from Valiant Comics, and I'm so grateful that we've had such an incredible volume of work since the 2012 reboot. So if you've read any Bloodshot, if you're excited about the movie, let us know below. Let's get a conversation going. If you are curious about Bloodshot, do check out the books. Come back. Let us know what you thought. Hit that subscribe. Hit the like button. Be sure to check out Dr. Squatch if you're looking for some new soap. And be sure to keep an eye out for our new Patreon. We should have something up soon. I'm sorry, I've been slacking a little, but that will have giveaways in it. The first of which will be a Valiant giveaway. So if you're looking for some Bloodshot, Bloodshot Book 1 2019 will be part of our first Valiant giveaway, so stay tuned for that. And until next time, as always, this was Mike from the Hardcover Comic. You stay classy, Internet.